Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's safe to say that the Zack Wheeler signing has been a steal. Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Phillies Sensitive Media, and today we're going to be talking about why the Zack Wheeler contract has been a steal for the Phillies. Now, guys, before getting into this video, please subscribe if you have not yet. Please engage the bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. So we all know Phillies ace Zack Wheeler signed a 5-year, $118 million contract, and he's getting paid $23.6 million a year, which is just an absolute steal. We all know that. I mean, this guy has just been great since donning the red pinstripes. He's put up, all-star numbers. I mean, he's just been great. I mean, and we all know that the Phillies, in recent past, have not done well with signing starting pitching. For example, in March of 2018, the Phillies came to an agreement with free agent right-handed pitcher Jake Arrieta on a 3-year, $75 million contract. That contract, as we all know, was just an absolute train wreck. He was a disaster. $25 million a year for those horrendous numbers. Just horrendous numbers. That's the only word I could use for that. Just horrendous. And yeah, Jake Arrieta, in his 3 years here in Philadelphia, getting paid $25 million. And you have Zack Wheeler putting up amazing numbers. I mean, he was second in Cy Young voting this past year, getting paid $23.6 million a year. I just can't believe that, getting paid 1.4 less than Jake Arrieta was. It's just no question that this contract has been a steal. During his time at the New York Mets, he definitely showed some signs of, being very, very good, but I think he was overshadowed a little bit. You had Jake DeGrom, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball when he's healthy, and you have, of course, they had Noah Syndergaard, who was supposed to be very, very good, but he just really battled some injuries. I always thought he was very overrated. I mean, he just had a, high wheel on that fastball. I think it kind of attracted a lot of people with the, the long hair flow, and, his rookie season, the Mets made the World Series in 2015. Of course, now he's with the LA Angels after signing a 1-year contract. Of course, they also had Matt Harvey, who wasn't good after 2015. Anyway, my point is that Zack Wheeler was heavily overshadowed in New York. And honestly, ever since donning the red pinstripes, he has been everything and more the Phillies expected out of him. He is the guy. There's no doubt about that. He's the ace of this rotation. He's the most consistent. I just love it. Of course, represented the Phillies, one of, 2 players, him and Arrieta, representing the Phillies in the 2021 All-Star Game, at Coors Field in Colorado. Throughout the course of the season, you're going to go through a time, where you're a little off. And he did experience that. Fortunately, it came right around after the crackdown and everything, like, oh, well, the substance checks and everything. Well, he definitely was using some types of substances, and he basically proved everybody wrong because he basically got back to that same level he was at the beginning of the season. Of course, he got a little fatigue as the year went on. The Phillies, definitely got a lot of innings out of this guy, and one of the things that, was so attractive about Zack Wheeler is that he's past TJ, which is just a wonderful sign, right? Any time a pitcher is past TJ, it's most likely going to be a wonderful thing, right? Unless they have, some nagging injury, if it wasn't done right by the right doctor. He did not have a lot of mileage on his arm, and then when the Phillies signed him, he was 29 years of age. Of course, now he's 31, but there was something very, something very attractive about Zack Wheeler. And former GM Matt Klentak, when he came on here, friend of the pod, Matt Klentak, when he came on here, he talked about that and what he saw in Zack Wheeler. Of course, Matt Klentak was the general manager at that time. I mean, so he signed Zack Wheeler to a 5-year, $118 million contract. So you heard it firsthand from the guy that made the move, Matt Klentak. He talked about what he saw in Zack Wheeler, right? And even his final year there in New York in 2019, it wasn't something great. The second half of 2018, a year where Jacob DeGrom won the NL Cy Young. And the reason why you didn't really hear much about Zack Wheeler in 2018, DeGrom won the Cy Young. I mean, it totally overshadowed his season. And in the second half of 2018, he had pretty much almost identical numbers to Jacob DeGrom. in the second half of 2018. I mean, he was that good. And that's when that's when Zack Wheeler kind of caught the Phillies' attention a little bit. Right around that time, a year before he elected free agency, the Phillies kind of saw what he did in the second half of 18. And it was very, very impressive, and I definitely think that was a big reason as to why he got the contract he did. If you didn't watch my show during that time, I mean, I was not really that excited about the Zack Wheeler signing. You go take a look at his numbers, 4 points below 4 ERA at 3.96. I was thinking, like, I don't really know how I feel like paying this guy $23.6 million a year. And I think I had a right to, feel that way. And of course, like I said, in 2018, that was by far his best year, before coming to the Phillies with a 3.31 ERA. And as I keep mentioning, that second half of 18, which was right up there, his teammate during that time, Jacob deGrom. But I was not really that impressed. And, the Minnesota Twins making a higher offer than the Phils was actually elected to sign here. Of course, it's a family decision with his wife, and I think his wife kind of pressured him to sign here too. So thank you, Mrs. Wheeler. It's very ironic because, as I said at the beginning, the Phillies have not had a good track record with signing starting pitching. And the most recent example is he used with Jake Arrieta. And you could go take a look at some lower level signings. This past year, Chase Anderson and Matt Moore, disasters. Flat out disasters. And you go take a look at the trade the Phillies made in July with Kyle Gibson. That didn't really work out too well. So just acquiring pitching, the Phillies have never really had a good reputation with that. But this acquisition of Zack Wheeler that they made in December of 2019 was just incredible. I mean, this is a guy that missed, the entire 2015 season, from recovering from Tommy John and, trying to come back. And honestly, just, talked about before, he barely had any mileage on that arm. And that was just really great. If you're going down the, later part of the season, if you're going to make the playoffs, the Phils have not done in 10 years, 11 seasons, which is just pathetic, but that's a whole other story for another day. But if you're going down the stretch like that, in a pennant race, having a guy like Zack Wheeler, a guy that still has a lot of mileage on that arm, of course, he's going to be a little tired at the end of the season. Who's not, right? And knowing that you got a guy like that, a guy that's, still, wonderfully sound as a pitcher heading into the postseason, that is a wonderful thing. It gives you peace of mind. It gives you a lot of peace of mind. I think that's something that also attracted the Phillies to Zack Wheeler. Even if he would have signed that deal with the Minnesota Twins, then of course, would have been getting paid more. Honestly, still would have said he is underpaid. He is flat out underpaid. This contract has just been an absolute steal. And you see the irony, because we all criticize the Phillies, rightfully so, for making cheap signings and not getting the job done. But this signing has worked out so well. Zack Wheeler is the concrete support in this starting rotation. When he signed here, it was actually kind of funny, because I remember, a guy on Instagram kept saying, he kept expressing, who's the Phillies ace now? Is it Zack Wheeler or Aaron Nola? Zack Wheeler or Aaron Nola? And I kept saying, I'm like, there's no question, it's Aaron Nola. Yeah, there's no question it's Aaron Nola after you saw the Wheeler's 2019 season, and I used to laugh about that, and it turns out that he couldn't have been more right. He couldn't have been more right. That is what has happened. Of course, Aaron Nola, like I said before, a whole other topic for another day. But he's basically pitched for like a number 3, number 4 at best. Zack Wheeler has pitched like a number one. Right? The ace Zack Wheeler at the top. And you gotta love his stuff too, because a guy that's 31 years of age, who is, as I said, past TJ, can almost top out at 100 miles an hour on his fastball. That is incredible, right? I just love watching this guy blow up by guys, and something that's been very interesting with Zack Wheeler is he's kind of a versatile type of pitcher. One thing that is that he can have these starts where he's just striking everybody out, and he leaves the game with 8+ strikeouts, and he just looks absolutely dominant. And then he'll come out another start and also be dominant, be a pitch to contact type of out kind of guy, which is very interesting. And also that slider is an interesting pitch as well. And no one really ever talks about the Zack Wheeler off speed. No one really ever talks about his curveball that much, because it's kind of overshadowed by that overpowering fastball. But honestly, he can mix in the curveball in there and make you look foolish. He really can. Because no one really ever expects it that much, because he relies heavily on the fastball. And the slider, as I said, definitely an underrated pitch as well. But this guy has the stuff, and I love it. 31 years old. He can top at almost 100 miles an hour on his fastball. I just love it. I mean, this signing, I'm in love with this Zack Wheeler signing. I'm so thankful we have Zack Wheeler, right? And this is someone gives me a lot of hope, right? I mean, this gives, me and hopefully gives you a lot of hope about the future of the Phillies, because we're all just frustrated, right? I think there's a point of frustration in this city when it comes to the Philadelphia Phillies, and, with them not making the playoffs since 2011, we're frustrated. This fan base is frustrated, and rightfully so. We have a right to be upset. Because this organization has failed. There's reason to have a lot of hope, because the Phillies honestly have one of the best starting rotations in baseball. If Aaron Nola can bounce back, you all know what Wheeler's going to do. If Aaron Nola can bounce back, if Kyle Gibson can be what he was with the Rangers in the first half of the 2021 season, Zach Eflin, could just be consistent, right? And, go out there and, purchase a pretty, solid game. Of course, Zach Eflin's going to keep you in the ball game. And Ranger Suarez, look what he did this past year. He was unbelievable. I couldn't believe him. I could not believe how well Ranger Suarez pitched. And assuming all those things happened, I mean, the Phillies, of course, it's not with the 1-2 punch of Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom, not in that order, but it's definitely something very, very special, right? But, I mean, take a little knock at the Mets here. I mean, it's just two guys at the top rotation. What's going on with number 3, number 4, number 5? David Peterson, okay, this is definitely, a very interesting situation that the Phillies are in with the starting rotation. Very, very interesting. And Zack Wheeler leading that pack, at the top, right? I mean, he's the top dog. He's the top horse in this rotation. And he's just overwhelmingly underpaid. I mean, $23.6 million a year. $23.6 million a year. And this guy had a 2.78 ERA this past year. 2.78 for $23.6 million. I mean, I honestly think you could go back, 10 years ago and say this was underpaid too. I mean, this is just incredible. It's not like this guy had a 1.70 ERA. I mean, go take a look at what he did in the short 2020 season, 2.92. And honestly, I was still really impressed with what he did in 2020, but I wanted to see what he did in 162, and this is what he did in 162, which is just very, very impressive. With a WAR of 7.3, it is 7.3 WAR last year, and the reason why his WAR was just 2 last year because it was a 60-game season. So you can't even look at that. WAR is really just not really a great stat to look at in the 2020 standards, right? I mean, we all know that. I mean, of course, you got to take that into fact. It is a shortened season. Strikeouts per 9, 10-4-2. 10-4-2. I mean, even some of these numbers are even, much, even better than 2020, which is also a good year. 2020, 6.72. So Zack Wheeler is a versatile kind of pitcher. As I said, he can have a game where he, leaves the game, A+ strikeouts, and then he can have a game where he's the, pitch to contact type of out guy. So he's a very interesting guy. But, of course, most of the time he's going to be that guy that's going to go out there and lead the ball game after 8 or 9+ strikeouts. So Zack Wheeler, underpaid. This signing has just been wonderful for the Phillies. It has totally worked out. I'm so happy that Zack Wheeler is a Philly. Can't wait for the 2022 season. Final video of 2021. 263 videos, ladies and gentlemen. 110 more than we did last year. Last year we did 153. I'd like to thank you all so much for your support here in 2021. As goes for Phillies Hats to Media, we're heading into 2022, coming up on the 3-year anniversary on January 21st. So almost doing this for 3 years, and I'm going to go way more than just 3 years. I can't believe it's been 3 years. I love this. This is a passion in my life, and I just love it. Right? We'll talk about this more on Saturday, New Year's Day Q&A and weekly update, but Phillies Hats to Me is a wonderful thing in my life, and I'd like to thank you all so much for making it fun as well. So I continue to do that. So guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you have not yet. Please share and engage your bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Check out the social media link in the description section. Phillies Hats to Media, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at @PiatStoveMedia. Call or text 267-225-3292. Email me, phillieshatsmedia@gmail.com. I will see you all on Saturday for the New Year's Day Q&A and the weekly update. Happy New Year, as goes for 2021. See you later. 2022, here we come. So, guys, thanks for watching. I'm Luke, and I'll see you guys.